Martha, get in there. I just need to get your son name there. Yes, I want you welcome to the stage. The one with Mr. Scott Jeffries. Come on,
Hello humans, I am the biped Scott Jeffrey, and this is my first joke. I've got a friend who's very rich, and the reason that he's very rich is that he never spends any of his money on perfumes. He's got more money than sense! Yes! I had a sort of quite a hard start in life. My mother died the day I was conceived.
Oh.
That's a slow burner. My childhood was quite difficult as well. My brother's imaginary friend was my imaginary enemy. Luckily, now I've got imaginary friends with benefits. Yeah, maybe. It's okay. This is all new material, by the way, so feedback is good. So when I was about, this is a true story, when I was about 8 years old, my dad had a proper sort of full-on religious experience and converted to Christianity. And it was really weird because like, his entire personality changed overnight. And that's actually, you know, it can be quite disconcerting for a child, because I used to be my dad's favourite, but it's really hard to compete with Jesus. So I'd come home and be like, oh, Dad, I did really well in school today. And he'd say, ah, but are you the way, the truth and the light? I'd go, no, Dad, sorry. You know, and that kind of made me sort of bitter about religion, but actually sort of, you know, I'm quite sort of open to it in lots of ways. I quite often think that the Bible is a bit like the TV series of Monty Python. You know, like, it's kind of old and some of it's a bit slow and a bit sexist, but there's some really good ideas in there, and it's often very, very funny. You know, except in the Bible, of course, the silly walks are cured and the dead parrot comes back to life 3 days later. So, you know, my dad actually, he ended up he runs a church now, and like a fairly typical son of a preacher man, I ended up getting quite heavily into occultism and psychedelic drugs. It happens all the time. They say you can't win the war on drugs. It makes it too difficult to drive a tank. But I mean, sort of my experience with psychedelic drugs, it gave me a bit of insight into my dad. I was a bit more sympathetic towards this religious view, because I've actually, you know, I've had a lot of mystical experiences that way. I mean, mine tend to involve a lot more hyperdimensional self-replicating machine elves, but it's essentially the same thing, isn't it? Really? Basically the same thing, I think. But I think it's interesting if you talk to people about psychedelics. Some people really don't like psychedelic drugs, and they say things like, ah, it's just an escape from reality. And I think, well, if that's really your position, surely you should burn all your books and DVDs. If you're that against escaping from reality, turn that TV off right now. There'll be no escaping from reality under my roof, you deviant. What was I? Like I said, it's a new 5 minutes. I got a bit lost there. Yeah, but I don't take as many drugs as I used to, because I've got a kid now. So I have to share them with him. I'm glad you like it, because my girlfriend hates that joke. Yeah, so but I quite often think, you know, when people say, what's so good about reality anyway, really? Like I say, I've got a kid, I've got a very young child and a very elderly dog. So my reality mostly consists of cleaning up feces all day. Right? I don't really want to be there, if I'm honest. Not with my child, that sounded terrible. I meant the shit. I meant the shit. Luckily I got used to feces quite early, because when I was a kid, my mum defecated in front of me. Has that ever happened to anyone?
No.
No, but it's a weird thing to watch. I mean, she didn't do it on purpose. It wasn't like a bizarre form of punishment. She was like, what are you doing coming in at this time of night? That'll show you. You know, it was an accident. She was just sort of wearing a dressing gown. She was sat on the sofa, and she just sort of, and she went, woo! And she ran away. And I looked over, and there was just a tiny puddle of poo on the sofa. But, you know, and I'm an adult now, so I understand that she must have been ill and stuff, you know, and it looks out, and as an adult, it's not like I haven't shat myself, because I have many, many, many times. But as a child, you don't really figure that, so it sort of took off my mum's edge of authority, if you like. So my mum would say things like, tidy your room, and I'd be like, why, what are you going to do? Shit yourself. You know, not nice now. genuinely got a bit lost then. Yeah, one bit of advice, so if your mum ever does defecate in front of you, you must rub her face in it like you would a dog, or she will do it again. You can take that home. That's totally thrown me. Ah, new material. I usually write it down on my hand. So, yeah, I know where I was going with this. Who likes the French philosopher Michel Foucault? It's about what I was expecting. Foucault's really good, right? He's a really interesting cat. He said that society works to create docile bodies, right? And what he meant by that is society wants docile bodies that they do what they're told. They go to work, they procreate to create more docile bodies that also do what they're told, right? So just work, sleep, eat, die. There are jokes coming, by the way, right? But what Foucault says about this is that the people that we label as sort of perverse or mental, we only actually say that because their bodies and minds don't work in a docile way, so they're actually kind of revolutionary. So the psychedelic drug user, for instance, that's a political act, because he's saying, my mind is my own to alter as I will. Right? That makes sense, yeah? So, but Foucault says it's true of sort of sexual perversions as well. Like, he was quite into sadomasochism, because he said the thing about like the sadomasochist is a rebellion against the status quo, because the sadomasochist says, my penis is not for creating more docile bodies for the machinery of empire. My penis is my own, to wank off with a glove made of sandpaper as I will. You know, it's radical. That guy in the news the other week who was in the piss dungeon, did anyone read about that? He was like hidden under a toilet cubicle, people kept pissing on him, right? But he's not a pervert, he's like a sort of radical social theorist in Foucault's view. He's to be celebrated. That woman you see in those videos at the bukkake parties, damp, with the fetid semen of 23 different men, right? She's not a victim or a whore, she's a radical feminist theorist living her life at the cutting edge of contemporary philosophy, right? And so because I was thinking about that, I realised that my mum didn't just shit herself, she actually delivered a scathing critique of bourgeois morality. You know? I think that's good, that's the sort of revolution we can all get behind, isn't it? You know, leading the way to a sort of golden age of effluence and freedom. Sticking it to the man by letting a man stick something in you. I've been Scott Jeffery, you've been remarkably patient. Thank you very much. Good night.